Getting started with ESGI. You'll first want to start at the ESGI main homepage at www.esgisoftware.com. You'll go to the upper right-hand corner where you will find a login button. From here, you will type in your username and password and hit login. Once you have logged into ESGI, you will find your class, groups, and students are located on the left-hand side of your screen. Your students are automatically populated through Aries every 24 hours around midnight. If you get a new student in your class, it takes anywhere from 24 to 48 hours for them to usually pop up in your roster. You may want to go in and create smaller groups to help with assessing smaller numbers of students or for pulling data. To do this, you hit the Add button under Groups, and your class list will pop up. You can then drag students into a group once you have named the group and then hit Save. In the center of your screen, you will find tabs in the top center, data pie charts in the middle, and reports on the right. In this view, you are looking at your class's summary of the assessment to be given in your grade level. If you would like to look at individual student performance, you would simply click on one of the student names on the left. Your student name will appear at the top, and now you are looking at the assessment information for just that one student. From this screen, you can see when each assessment was last administered and how well they did on each of the different assessments. If your grade level tab does not provide you with enough information or assessments, you can move over to the overall assessment tabs, for example, BPST, which is the Basic Phonics Skills Test. Here you can just look at that one assessment and how well the student performed on those particular tests. If you have a student who is not yet tested, their pie charts will appear as gray circles. When you are ready to test a student, you will call over the student to where you are seated with your computer. If the student has never tested on this assessment, it will go directly into the test. The image will appear in the center of the screen for the student. The directions for the teacher are located at the bottom of the screen. For example, what sound does this letter make? If the student gets the question correct, you'll hit yes. If they do not, you can hit no. If they miss it, you can type a note in the bottom. This information will be saved for you to refer back to at another time. If this is an assessment that you have given before, you can see a last test date and the number of questions that have gotten correct. When you hit Test, you will be given a choice, whether or not you want to just test the incorrect items or retest all items. This is to be chosen with teacher discretion in mind. A neat feature of ESGI, you can change the buttons that you click at the bottom of your screen when you are testing a student. They are defaulted to yes and no, but you can change those. If you go to the Profile button, you will find your account information. If you go to the Settings tab, here you will find different ways to sort your students and enable shortcuts that you could use on the keyboard if you wanted to, like a Y or an N or a left or a right. You can also change the label for yes to other things. For example, horse is yes and dog is no. Now when you go to assess a student, you will find the option horse, which represents yes, and dog, which represents no. For some students, this may be the yes and no may be a barrier for them, where horse and dog is less obvious whether they answered the question correct or not. Once you have gotten far enough in the school year where you may have given an assessment multiple times, this history button is nice to see how well a student has performed over time, giving you data points of how many they have correct, designating a baseline with a diamond, a triangle if you just tested the incorrect items, and a circle if you chose to retake the test all over again. When testing students, a really neat feature of ESGI is a button that says Untested Students. When you click on this button, you will get an overall look of all of your students with the various assessments that you have within that tab. This screen will show you the students that may have assessments that need to be tested. For example, this student here has several holes and will need those assessments completed, where this other student has all of their assessments, at least in this part of the screen, updated to this point. You can change the window in which you last assessed students. At the top, you can change the length of time in which you want to have your assessments last updated. This may help you to catch students who may have not been tested in a while and need to have an update on their assessments. Now you should have enough information to get started with ESGI and assessing students using this tool. Look for another video to show you the different types of reports, letters, and resources that are available to share with families.